Have you ever heard those parents that say like, "Oh, we sacrificed everything for you. We risked it all just for you, just so that you could have a life." And this was actually like the normalized dynamic in your life from a very early age, or whoever's life it occurred in. Maybe it was yours, maybe it was somebody else's. They utilize all of these different tactics, like neurotic shame and guilt. Oh, shame on you for the way that you're behaving. We fucking risked everything. We sacrificed everything so that you could be here. They guilt you into doing things that you maybe otherwise wouldn't want to do. And so, say for instance, this became like the normalized dynamic in your life from a very early age. Imagine that from a very early age, this dynamic was so normalized that it became hardwired into your psychological structure, your psyche, your subconscious, your unconscious, and all of those things. But then imagine one day you woke up, or maybe it was like a gradual over time thing, because sometimes these things, I guess, happen in like one day where like you have this awakening. Other things are kind of like an over time gradual unfolding. But imagine that you start to wake up metaphorically, like you start to have awakenings, as they call them. And then you start to ask yourself, wait a second, did I ask to be born, to be brought into this world? Did I ask to have all of this shit shoveled onto me? Did I ask to be fucking guilted and shamed? Did I ask to have all these different things be risked and sacrificed for me? Did you ask to be born? Did you ask to be brought into this world? What if you were to get playful with that question? What if you were to look deeper into it? And it's fascinating because I say this and I realize that in the past I've seen things on the internet that communicate that people apparently have like soul contracts. It's I don't know what it is, honestly. I'm not here to point to anything that is false. I am here to like bring up subjects that are fascinating to me and to look at things for what they are. Um, but apparently, like soul contracts are a thing. Um, I have no evidence of any of this stuff, and I strongly question the shit out of any of this stuff because it's like, like quite honestly, like anybody can like say anything and bring up anything and be like, oh yeah, we came here for this reason. Where's your evidence? It's usually the end of the conversation at that point. Not Colombian this time, by the way. It's like a half calf mix. Anyway, getting back to it. Delicious nonetheless. Did you ask to be born? Did you ask to be brought into this world? It's not about whether or not you like life, whether or not you like your life, any of that stuff. What this is a matter about is that you didn't ask to be born, you didn't ask to be brought into this world, and yet there are probably people and structures that have enlaid themselves on you, that have brought themselves on you as entitled, and you might be subconscious or unconscious about it. You might not even be aware of it. Everything happens so fast, right? Like you were born and now you're here. And you went through a fuck ton of evolution. You went through many years of development in a very specific way. Did you ever question any of it? I mean, we can laugh about the unfortunate neurotic shame and guilt later, but first we need to see through all of that stuff. Why are we being neurotically shamed and guilted if we didn't even ask for this? Again, this is not a matter of whether or not you love life. It's just a matter of simply looking from afar at the reality that we kind of were, not kind of, we were born, brought into this world, and we went through years and years of evolution, decades. And so with that, a bunch of things unfolded and a bunch of things by people and laid themselves on us. And I'm going to throw the word boundary violating in there because the way that a lot of structures in society work are unfortunately boundary violating. A lot of people that are in unhealthy relationships, they experience dynamics that they might not even be aware of. They might just consider them normal. Do you remember asking to be born? Do you remember asking to be brought into this world? Do you remember asking to have all of these fucking boundary violations take place that you might still to this very day be unaware of? And it's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's simply just a matter of awareness. Do you feel like people feel that they're entitled to you, and not just feel that they're entitled to you, literally behave like they're entitled to you? Are you aware that you are allowed to set boundaries? You're allowed to set healthy boundaries. Are you aware of all of this neurotic shame and guilt you may have been fucked with, or that maybe you have seen unfold in other people's lives? Nobody owns you. Nobody's above you. Nobody gets to dictate your life. You know, like, it's so fascinating to think about. Like, yeah, you were born into this world. Did you ask for that? You were brought into this world by people that apparently had plans for you. Did you ask for that? Did you ask for, at such an early age in life, to be inlaid upon with so many fucking expectations? Things that, as a child, you literally could not consent to because you didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Infancy, you're just looking for guidance. Like, you don't know. Childhood, same thing. Oh, this is just the way life is. Is it really? I mean, just because that's what you've lived doesn't mean that that's the way that it has to be. It's so fascinating to me that people see neurotic shame and guilt as so fucking normalized that they don't see the fucked upness of it. So you're telling me that parents are going to bring a child into this world, or multiple children into this world, and mindfuck them with neurotic shame and guilt because the child isn't doing what the parents want them to do? And I'm not talking about, respecting boundaries that would otherwise endanger your life. I'm talking about what the child wants to do with their life. And how what the parents want for the child opposes that. Like, wow, Karen, I didn't ask for this neurotic shame and guilt. Looks like you and Dad had other fucking plans for me. Why? Why did you bring me into this world to be a fucking narcissistic extension of you? Because you are fucked up. And that's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just not healthy. It's not healthy to turn another human into a narcissistic extension of yourself. Your insecurities are your responsibility. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. The reality of bringing another person into this world as a narcissistic extension of yourself, a child that didn't even get to have the place to fucking consent to anything. It didn't get healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. No, the family system was structurally fucked up. Survival, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. You didn't get to have time in your life to play and to learn and to discover yourself in a healthy way. No, you were thrown into a bunch of fucking fucked up roles that you did not ask to be thrown into. It's wild, isn't it? So, point of view. You are hit with neurotic shame and guilt. And maybe you're starting to awaken. Maybe you're starting to look at it and be like, wait a second, I didn't ask to be brought into this world. It's fucking cool here. Life is fucking cool. It's interesting. Yeah, things are cool and interesting. I like this. Sweet, wonderful. But I didn't ask for this. And so with that, wouldn't that also simultaneously make sense to say then that who the fuck are any of you for violating my fucking boundaries with neurotic shame and guilt? Who the fuck are any of you to inlay all of these fucking expectations that I didn't even fucking consent to onto me? Who are you? Is your middle name Boundary Violating? Or Boundary Violations? Because that sure is what you're doing. One of the most important parts of personal development, in my opinion, is awareness. It's just awareness. Awareness. What you are unaware of, you can't do anything with. If you are unaware that you did not ask to be brought into this world and you've simply just gone through the process of your life's evolution, both subconscious and unconscious, totally unaware of things that if you were to otherwise be aware of would very well help you out. What you are unaware of, you can't do anything with. Are you unaware that neurotic shame and guilt is a thing, and it is also an unhealthy thing? Are you aware that it is fucked up for parents to bring children into this world that didn't ask to be brought here, to neurotically be shamed and guilted for their apparent existence? Oh, we sacrificed so much for you. Cool, Karen. I don't remember asking you to. Awareness is like it's the game changer here. It really is. It really is. Like when you're not aware, or I should say when you are unaware, that there's a difference between unhealthy relationships and healthy relationships. If you're unaware of that and you think that all that there is fucking sadomasochism in relationships, all you're going to do is settle for these fucked up relationships. Again, they're not good or bad or right or wrong, they're just not healthy. Would you rather spend the entire rest of your life unknowingly being a narcissistic extension of somebody else? Somebody who does not care about you in a healthy way, or just simply doesn't care about you at all because they were unfortunately underdeveloped? It's fascinating when you approach all of this stuff. It's fascinating when you become aware of all of this stuff. Oh, you haven't heard about neurotic shame and guilt before? Oh, you thought that all of this stuff was just the way that it is, the way that it's supposed to be? Oh, you didn't realize that you didn't ask to be brought here and mind fucked with a bunch of fucked up neurotic shame and guilt from parents or caretakers, whoever, that lack healthy boundaries? You cannot do anything with what you are unaware of because you don't see it. When you don't see neurotic shame and guilt, you can't do anything with it. When you don't wake up to the realization of, oh wow, I didn't ask for this actually, any of this, and I've just had all of these people fucking inlay this shit on me, fucking violating the shit out of my boundaries, you can't do anything with it. Awareness is key. What you are unaware of, you can't do anything about. But what you become aware of, that's where the transformation happens.